Hi everyone, welcome to day 5 of the Move and Write series. Day 5, we are halfway through. That's kind of crazy. That's crazy. Yes, day 5 of the Move and Write series. Thank you so much for joining me today for our 30-minute flow together. Today's theme is balance. So we're going to be moving through some balancing postures, some balancing poses, working on feeling what that feels like in our body. And honestly, in balance, I think that just includes the practice of falling and gathering yourself and getting back on, getting back to what you're doing. It happens in life all the time. The mat's a perfect place to physically practice that as well. So to start today, we're going to start with some breath work. Let me move my assistant real quick. No. You stay up there, okay? We're going to start with some breath work to get this practice started. And this pranayama practice is really going to help bring some balance into our breathing. We're going to practice some alternate nostril breathing. So to get started, get in a comfortable seat. Get in a comfortable seat. So I've got a blanket folded up underneath my hips. Maybe you have a block or a pillow. Maybe you have a block or a pillow underneath to kind of help lift the hips up, support them a little bit. So once you find your comfortable seat, spine long, before we start this pranayama breath work, just taking a few deep breaths. Closing down the eyes. And to begin this breath work today, take your right hand, place your ring finger on your left nostril and your thumb on your right. We'll start by plugging the right nostril, leaving the left open, inhaling for a count of 4, holding for a count of 4, and then switching so that the left nostril is plugged and we exhale out the right nostril for a count of 4 before we inhale from that same side once again. So I'll guide you through it. Take your thumb, close up that right nostril. For a count of 4, begin to breathe in through the left. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Switch, plug the left nostril, opening up the right, and exhale at the right. 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale the right. 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Switch and exhale at the left. 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Switch and exhale out the right. 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Switch, exhale out the left. 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Continue this breath work at your own pace, keeping count on your own. Maybe you'd like to lengthen the count, and maybe you'd like to shorten it. Listen to what your body needs right now. Take one more round on your own. Keep the eyes closed, bring the hand back down to your knee, and return the breathing back to normal. Let the breath go. This alternate nostril breathing can really bring a sense of balance into the body, a sense of equanimity between the left and right side, the masculine and feminine, the solar and lunar energies that reside within all of us. Slowly begin to open your eyes. Remove the pillow or blanket if you're sitting on one, block from underneath you. And start to come onto your hands and knees into our familiar tabletop position. As we start to create some movement in the body, so taking some cat and cow motions here. Inhaling into cow pose, sinking the belly towards the ground, lifting up through the heart. And exhaling into cat pose, rounding the spine, looking back towards the belly. Inhaling for cow, really pushing that heart forward, pressing the ground away from you. And exhaling into cat, feeling the space in the spine. Continue these movements at your own pace, following your own breath, and taking whatever other movements feel good in this position as well. Maybe some barrel rolls, circling the spine in one direction, and switching to the other. Maybe you warm up the wrists a little bit, so moving forward and back, turning the wrist out to the side, moving side to side. And maybe you turn the fingers back to face the knees and play with moving back and forth here. Come back to a neutral spine. We're going to take a little mini flow into downward dog here. So on an inhale, press that heart forward, coming into cow pose. Exhale, taking sort of a low push-up with your knees down. And inhaling back up, exhaling back into downward facing dog. Inhale, ride that spine back out to a tabletop position. Exhale and tabletop. Inhale to cow pose, lifting that heart up. On your exhale, you're going to, once again, do a mini push-up with the knees down and send the hips back into downward facing dog. On the inhale, riding that spine back into tabletop position, exhaling into tabletop. One more here. Inhaling the heart forward for cow pose. Exhale through a mini knee push-up all the way back to downward facing dog. Riding that next inhale into tabletop position. Pausing in tabletop for your exhale. Now send the hips back into downward facing dog. And take a moment here to get reacquainted with this shape, this inversion. Pedaling the feet, walking your dog a little bit. Moving the hips from side to side. And feeling the balance that can be found in this pose. Even though we have 4 points of contact on the ground, feeling the equanimity in the body here. A left hand, a right hand, a left foot, a right foot. Slowly begin to walk the hands back to meet the feet, landing in a forward fold position. Finding balance in the feet here, not leaning on the toes too much, not putting too much weight in the heels. Shaking out the head, releasing tension in the neck. On your next breath in, mindfully, slowly roll up to a standing position. Hands down by your side, mountain pose. Pausing for a breath here. We're going to flow through a couple of sun salutations to help warm the body up, and then we'll start to build our balancing flow. So inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward over your legs. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. This time walk the hands out into plank pose. Pausing for a breath. Exhale, moving through your chaturanga. Inhale into a heart opening pose. And exhale, back rolling over the feet into downward facing dog. Pausing for a couple of breaths. On your next exhale, walk, jump, or step the feet into the hands this time. Inhaling up to a flat back. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. On an inhale, rooting to rise through the feet all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward over your legs. Inhale up, flatten out your back. Exhale, hands down to the mat, stepping back into plank. Pausing for a breath and moving through your version of your vinyasa today. Inhaling to cobra or upward facing dog. And exhaling back, sending the hips up into downward facing dog. Remembering every vinyasa is optional. Everything I say is optional, really. But every vinyasa doesn't have to look the same. On your next breath out, walk, jump, or step those feet up in between the hands. Inhaling up to a flat back. Exhale, hands back down to the earth. On your next inhale, feeling the energy come up from the earth with you as you lift arms up overhead. Exhale, your hands back down to heart center. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding down to meet the earth beneath you. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhale, placing the hands on your mat, stepping back into plank. Pausing for a breath. And on your exhale, moving through chaturanga to that beautiful heart opening pose. And exhaling back into downward facing dog. On your next breath in, start to lift your right leg up towards the sky. Three-legged dog. So balancing on two hands, one foot, and start to open up that right hip. Maybe do a few circles, circling the ankle as well. So keeping the body balanced in this position. Straightening that right leg out towards the sky. Swinging it up in between the hands. Coming up for a crescent lunge. Staying on the ball of that back foot, bending into the front knee. Crescent lunge, high crescent lunge. Doing whatever feels good with the arms here. Maybe reaching up towards the sky. Maybe bringing them back down by your side, opening up the chest, stretching the knuckles down towards the ground. Using the core to keep you balanced. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. And on your exhale, start to twist to the right. So bringing that right arm behind you, twisting to the right. So adding a little challenge here in the balance. How do you adjust? If you've fallen out, what are you saying to yourself? How do you get back in it? Inhale, bring that back arm up to the front, raising the arms up once again. Exhale, folding over that front leg, stepping back into plank, and moving through your vinyasa, or maybe just meeting us all in downward facing dog. On your next breath in, lift that left leg up. Once again, opening up the hip here in our three-legged dog, creating some movement, lubricating those hip joints. showing them some love, while also keeping our balance. Straighten that left leg out, swing it up in between the hands. Staying on the ball of that back foot, rising up for a strong crescent lunge here. Feeling what balance feels like in your body. Once again, freedom to explore with the arms here, what feels good. On your next exhale, start to twist towards the left, swinging that left arm towards the back of your mat for a high crescent lunge twist. Noticing how the body adjusts to keep you balanced, to keep you upright. Inhale, arms up overhead, turning back to the front of your mat. Exhale, folding over that front foot. Stepping back into plank, choosing your way to arrive into downward facing dog. Really making sure that we choose our way to get to downward facing dog, our path, and that we honor that choice. Knowing it doesn't always have to look the same. On your next inhale, send that right leg up towards the sky once again. And on an exhale, swing it up in between the hands. We're going to come up into warrior one this time. So swiveling down on that back foot, so it's at about a 45-degree angle. Coming up into warrior one pose. Hips facing the front of the mat. And exhale, opening up into warrior two here. Opening up those hips, facing the long edge of your mat. Inhale for reverse warrior, so leaning back, lifting that right arm up towards the sky. And exhale, start to reach out with your right hand as far as you can in front of you, before placing it either on the inside of your thigh or bringing it all the way down the inside of your front foot for extended side ankle. Once again, options here with the hand. With your left arm can be straight up overhead. You can bring the fingertips towards the front of your mat for a little extra side lengthening. Or for a little heart opener, you can bring it around to grab the back side of the right quad. Taking a couple more breaths here. Bring that left arm up towards the ceiling. Start to straighten your front leg and coming up into triangle pose. So start to straighten that right leg till both legs are straight. And that right hand is either on the shin, the calf, maybe the ankle, creating some space in the left or in the right hamstring. Here comes our balance. Start to bring that left arm and rotate it towards the front of your mat, moving in a circle. And as you start to bring it back up towards the ceiling, begin to put all your weight on the right foot on the ground, the front foot. Start to come up into half moon pose. So stacking the hips on top of each other, balancing on that front foot with the right hand on the ground. The back foot like it's stamping the back wall behind you, shooting energy out. And breathing. Remembering that falling is part of the practice. Falling is okay. There's nothing wrong. If you're falling, you're doing it right. One more breath here. Now here's a challenge. Begin to come up into a standing position, keeping the back leg off the ground. So only balancing on that front leg, face the top of your mat. Standing up and bringing that left knee in towards your chest. I know, my right leg is burning too. We'll get through this. Bring that left knee into your chest, holding it with your hands. Place the right hand on the outside of that left knee and slowly start to twist towards your left, extending the left arm out towards the back wall. Couple of options with the eyes here. Maybe just looking out straight in front of you, or maybe you challenge your balance a little bit more and let your eyes follow that left hand and look towards the back wall. Finding that drishti, that single point of awareness, of focus, a still object to stare at to help with the balance. Noticing that if we focus the mind on one thing, the balance tends to be a little bit better. Slowly start to face the front of your mat, keeping that left leg up. And exhale, bring the left leg to the ground. Shake out the legs. And let's balance on the other side. So inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. And exhale, folding forward. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhale back down, stepping back into plank. And moving through your vinyasa of choice. Taking your path to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, lift the left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, swing it up in between the hands. Turning that back foot down to a 45-degree angle, rising up for warrior one. Inhale here. And exhale, opening up for warrior two. So maybe you notice your legs feel a little bit different after having balanced so long on the right leg. Maybe you notice just a difference in the way it feels compared to the left. Just noticing. Inhale, begin to lean back, lifting that left arm up towards the sky for reverse warrior. And exhale, start to lean forward with that left arm and placing it either on the inside of the left quad or all the way down to the ground for extended side angle. Once again, arm options here. Right arm straight up towards the ceiling. Extended towards the front of the mat. Or wrapped around and grabbing the outside of that left quad for a bind. One more breath here. And on your exhale, start to straighten that front leg. Maybe you bring the back foot in a little bit, opening up for triangle pose. Just keeping both feet on the ground. Both legs are straight, knees are not locked. Lifting up towards the sky, just creating a little bit of space in that left hamstring, that front hip. On your exhale, start to circle the arm down towards the mat. And as it comes back up to reach up towards the sky, begin to put all the weight on that left foot, coming into half moon pose. Now, if this balance is too challenging for you, you can always keep that back foot on the ground. Maybe play with tapping it. Just be careful with the knee that it doesn't come out over the ankle. Maybe you notice here that your balance on this side is different than the balance on the other side. Finding that drishti, that single point of focus, to look with the eyes, a non-moving object. Focus the mind on one thing. Continuing this balancing challenge on your next breath out. Start to face the front of your mat, keeping that right leg off the ground. And bringing that right knee into your chest, catching it with the hands. Feeling the strength of that left foot, the left ankle. Place your left hand on the outside of that right knee and start to twist towards the long edge of your mat, reaching the hand out to the back of your mat. Once again, remembering falling is part of the practice. It's not as big of a deal as we think it is. All you do is just find the breath and get back in. Bring both hands back to catch that knee. Taking one breath here. Woo. And put both feet on the ground. Shaking the legs out. Whew. Next breath in, lift the arms up overhead. Let's take it down to the mat. Get some stretches in. Exhale, folding forward over your legs. Inhale to a flat back. Hands back down, pausing in plank, and either moving through vinyasa or sending the hips straight back for downward facing dog. Let's take an audible X here in downward facing dog. I know sometimes when practicing balance I can lose my breath a lot and it becomes very short and rapid. So let's just take this moment to take a deep inhale. With an open mouth, let it all out. Awesome. One more like that. Deep inhale here. Open the mouth, let it out. Letting go of everything that just happened. Whether you fell and you felt like it was a disaster, it wasn't. Just let it go. It's in the past. Bring the knees down. Let's come into child's pose here. Walk the hands back towards the knees. Come up to sit on your heels. Swing the legs out from underneath you. Bringing the legs out in front of you. We're going to do one stretch for the outer hips here. So place the legs out straight in front of you. Begin by pulling the left leg in first. So bring that left heel towards the right glute. And then cross the left leg over the right leg over the left and bring that right heel towards the left glute. So kind of in like a pretzel here. You should feel this on the top leg and the outer hip of that top leg. Create space in the spine, creating a long spine on your inhale. And on your exhale, just start to lean forward. Maybe this is enough. Instead of rounding, we want to keep a long spine leading with the chest. Maybe you walk the hands out a little bit, really feeling it in the outer hip of that top leg. Maybe pushing the ground away with your hands. Slowly begin to walk the hands back, straightening back up, and switch the legs. So the leg that was on top, pull that one in first, that heel towards the opposite glute in first. And the one that was on the bottom last time will be on the top this time, making sure the knees are facing the front of the mat. Once again, creating space in the long spine first before starting to move forward onto your mat. Once again, just noticing, not judging at all. If one side feels tighter than the other, my left hip is usually my tighter one. Just becoming aware. So when we think of balance, I know in the physical practice, in order to maintain balance, something that's very important for me is keeping my mind focused on one thing. I see that translate off the mat as well. Finding balance in my life, trying to maintain the balance of life. I can't be spread too thin. Start to walk the hands back. Unwind the legs. Coming back into a comfortable seated position, just like we started. Closing down the eyes, Hands can be resting down on the knees or maybe palms flipped up towards the sky. Feeling the balance in the body, the equanimity, the balance between body, mind, and spirit. How can we take these practices off the mat? Feeling the balance in the breath, always bringing us back to a sense of feeling steady and balanced within the body. Knowing that this is a tool we have access to at all times. Bringing your hands to heart center, palms together in Anjali Mudra. Feeling that heartbeat beneath the thumbs, your life source. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to practice with me. It truly is my pleasure to spend this time with you. The light and the dark within me truly sees, honors, and loves the light and the dark inside of each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in this balancing flow today. It's part of our Move and Right series. We just did the move part. Here's the right part. Journaling prompt that I have for you all today is, what is balance? What is balance in your life? What is it? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What represents balance to you? I can't wait to see what you'll come up with. And I hope to see you tomorrow for day 6 of the Move and Right series. Thank you again. I love y'all so much. Kona, you can come back here. You can come back and play with your toy.